G'day, Tex and Ads here with you with the Thursday night UTG update for everything that we do, unitytradinggroup.com. Stick around. We have a look at the results of Tuesday night's charts that we shared with you. BTC, LTC, ALGO, USD, XRP, showing you why we made the decision to TA the coin like what we did, showing you some tips and tricks on how you can better your own TA, and of course, looking at the results of those charts on Tuesday night. We'll see you in just a bit.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back. Tex and Ads here, unitytradinggroup.com. Let's jump into some of these charts and we'll break them down for you as well. No matter whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, stick around because you can learn a few things. If you have questions, come into the Discord and ask us, and we're happy to answer them. So BTC, we'll get straight into it. On Tuesday night, we spoke about formations, and a couple of the more popular formations, thinking about if BTC were to have a break to the upside. We had this break of this sort of downtrend, or if you want to sort of put it like kind of there, this downtrend. And then we spoke about BTC having a potential pullback, and I guess like a little bit of a shakeout around that 44, 45K zone before the continuation to the upside. But we didn't necessarily get the pullback that we thought that we would, but the end result was still the same. And yesterday inside the Discord, we saw a lot of alts pulling back. And typically when we see BTC run, particularly on the USD pairs, a lot of the time we will see the altcoin USD pairs run with it. So they will kind of move in unison with BTC as it continues to move to the upside before it gets to a major supply zone. So when we started getting around this supply zone here yesterday, and seeing a lot of alts pulling back, we said inside the Discord, this leads me to believe that a lot of people are now focusing on BTC, taking profits off of their alt positions on the off chance that we get a dramatic move to the upside. So it wasn't necessarily a heavy pullback I was expecting. It was more so a push to the upside, more so based on FOMO, the ETF news, all the things running around at the moment. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. So we've got a bust through supply now here, and we haven't quite made this top supply zone at 58. But for myself now, definitely looking at a sort of this zone for a potential pullback ads, where we would look to consider either averaging back into a position or waiting to see what the indicators tell us, because we are now really at a heavily oversold area ads.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this instance, it would be very, I hate to say the word wise, but it would be very appropriate to look for a little bit of downside just to cool off these indicators a little bit, because we have seen time and time again that we can, run for extended periods of time to the upside. It's happened plenty of times in the past if I just zoom out a little bit. But in this instance, or some more relevant instances in the past, we've seen overbought, last a little bit, shorter or have shorter period to that oversold condition. So, overbought condition. So it would be in the best interests of the indicators or the moving oscillators to look for some downwards momentum. And of course, this area here that we did just highlight a moment ago would probably be the first point of call before it moves to the upside. And you could even suggest that because that level of supply is now gone, we could even draw in something like this, where it coincides very nicely, with some of the liquidity that we still see to the left-hand side. And that would be a retest of the previous high. And of course, a movement to the upside or a continuation to the upside would be appropriate in this sort of fashion.
Yeah, I agree. And even if we don't get, or even if we head down a little bit lower from that previous high, this action would definitely not surprise me. I'm not going to look for exact dollar amounts at this previous high. I would look for this area of interest, as Ad said. So even if you want to front run this zone a touch by jumping in here, I would not be freaking out if we did have a move to that small little demand zone before a continuation back to the upside, because now that the momentum on BTC, or rather the sentiment, has well and truly changed. We have a few days either side where people are very emotional, as we see, where they're bullish one second, they're bearish the next second. But it seems like a lot more has changed in the last week or so, especially as we lead into a little bit more potential ETF news. Mike is doing his thing again as well, arguing with Peter Schiff on Twitter. So things are looking pretty good. And what we're seeing now, I'm feeling earlier this week, I said, I think we're very close to an alt season. And I think we're very much in it. We're seeing a little bit of a cycle now as BTC pulls back from this zone and makes its way back down to that demand. We're seeing alts run a little bit. So the cycle of profit is shifting a little bit. We're pulling back from BTC. We're jumping into alts to accumulate more BTC, and then the cycle kind of repeats. So I think for me now, we're well and truly into a little mini alt season, and these runs that we're having, particularly throughout October or Q4, need to be capitalized on. I said that on Tuesday, and I very much stick by that. The majors you will see, the LTCs, the ADAs of the world, the XRPs, the NEOs, they're going to be the ones that are going to start running now. High caps, mid caps, low caps, and then we'll cycle again. So yeah, very relevant for BTC, man. I wholeheartedly agree with that. If we jump into FUSD as well, similar thing again. We expect a little bit of a heavier pullback. We said we had buys layered down to 3,200. We didn't get there, I guess, thankfully or not thankfully, because it would have been a chance to accumulate lower. But the end result again was the same, and we're sitting here now at this supply zone ads, and we would expect I suppose more or less to act similarly to BTC at this area.
Yeah, look, it's not as heavy-handed as BTC, excuse me, for obvious reasons, and of course the volume isn't there like it is on BTC as well. So that heavy-handedness is pretty much absent from ETH in this instance. But nevertheless, the direction is the same, and the percentage gains, of course, are in relative to that, of course, because we are at a lower price point. But my thoughts remain the same. As a USD pair, it is pretty hedged against BTC in general, and these markets will move in a similar fashion, compared to the overall dominance. But we are seeing a double top scenario here on a steamroller indicator at that overbought condition, and we are observing a divergence on our RSI as well in comparison to the markets going to the upside. We are observing a downwards momentum on the moving oscillator. So, just another tool in our toolkit, Ty, in the sense where we are expecting BTC to come and give us a little bit of a pullback over the next day or so. And I think, giving us another coin entirely, but still hedged against the USD pair, I think, this steamroller double top, and of course the divergence is relevant for both F and BTC.
Yeah, and if we go to the daily time frame, or even if we put on Unicon on the 4 hour, but more importantly on the daily time frame, without doubt, just because we developed it, that doesn't change anything. But we have undoubtedly created the most accurate 4 hour and 1 daily time frame indicator really that I've ever seen on Ethereum. And what I said to the team the other day was, I said, you need to pay attention to when this happens. Look at this. The accuracy of this tool is unmatched. And even though we don't hedge all our chips on that, we've got a bullish environment for our RSI. Steamroller still has room to move to the upside. Yes, our volume is dwindling a little bit, but I'm not paying as much of attention to that because we've seen at times here where it can dip and increase quite rapidly. So for myself, Ethereum, I'm heavy in Ethereum at the moment, and I will be picking up dips at any turn point. So that really leads me to believe that again the alts will see strength along this period, and if you see an alt set up, take a punt, have respectable stops in place, and trade with what you can afford to lose, but have a go on alts. It's the time is now.
Very good.
All right, let's jump into ALGO USDT. Looking at where we were looking for a pullback on that, we got it. We're right into that golden pocket zone is where we spoke about, between that 50 and 61 Fibonacci. Yep. This just goes to show that when the fibs work, you don't need to adjust them. You don't need to move them every single time the structure of a coin changes. Find your major swing high to swing low, or swing low to swing high points if you're looking for retracements or pullbacks, and trust the process. So very much sitting here at this 38 zone, which is going to be significant. I'll look for a break from this, pretty much from this level if I'm going to have a little bit of a play on ALGO, but for the time being, I might just hold fire and see what happens if we can get a bullish up move on this RSI.
Yeah, and it really, is a testament to that formation, I guess, that we've been really speaking about. The hit on, or the touch on level of supply, pull back to our fibs, whether it be 38, 50, 61. In this instance, it was the 61. And then, of course, looking for those further directions or movements to the upside with the fib extension tool if we don't have a relevant level of supply at that point as well. So using tools in our toolkit, like I've said just a moment ago, but this instance, like Ty said, we are waiting for that movement to the upside, or that confirmation of direction. But of course, that's the general gist of the pattern that we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And regardless of the TA that's shown there, it also lines up when we don't have to, we can put them on the screen. Let's put the MA fan on the screen. You'll see on the 4-hour time frame that 200 MA, which is the red line, aligns pretty well with that zone as well, which we've seen act as a pretty significant level of support, or really, I guess, one of the last lines of defense before a pullback or a continuation move to the upside after we've dipped below it. So that 78.6 could still be on the cards, but that's a pretty good level for me at that 61.8.
Yeah, happy with that.
Get into to XRP USD, looking a little better. We know that XRP moves pretty well by itself when BTC is in a bullish mode, but tends to move well with BTC anyway. So for me, I'm feeling pretty good about XRP at the moment. We didn't get a pullback to that golden pocket zone, but it just goes to reinstate the significance of the 38 that we talk about quite a fair bit. I think it's good to allow for pullbacks to this level, so you would have your buy set at that level. But the 38, the 50, and the 61 always play a significant role in any pullback ads.
Absolutely. And like I've always said, 38, 50, 61, always, aligning those three levels. You're always, hedging your bets or hedging your best interests at those three levels. You're not really choosing one solely because typically you don't really get one solely. You get the 38 on its own, of course, more notably, but you don't really get, the 61 on its own. You'll get, the 50, 61 and the 38. I know it's not possible to get the 61 on its own because you have to pass through the other ones, but it really comes down to, if you're highlighting all three and you're, putting orders or DCAing yourself back into the market at all three levels, you're in business. Because if you get a hit on the 38, fantastic, and it keeps going, well, you're in the market. But if you hit all three, you're in the market for a little bit more. And of course, if you extend your momentum to the upside or in the direction that you were looking for in the first place when you did set the trade up, it's really going to pay off. So that's why we highlight all three zones. But in this instance, we hit the 38. We did retest that level on supply. It's going to take a little bit more volume, admittedly, to move through this level. It's quite significant, as you can see, in terms of sizing from $1. 1.1 to 1.25 or 1.3. There you go. So a -6.1, of course, extension is possible at 121, but we need a little bit more momentum. And of course, pullback wouldn't be off the cards, considering we've got our divergence, we've got our level of overbought. But we need to, I guess, if we're going to make a suggestion or we're going to make an observation, it's going to say when do you need a pullback, as suggested by the moving oscillators. But in general sense of things, the USD pair looks good, and a move to the upside will be pretty welcomed in this instance, I think.
Yeah, totally. And on the daily time frame, we're sitting above our MA cluster. We've had a really beautiful bounce off that 200 MA, as you'll see as we put it on there. Everything's looking is looking pretty good. If we zoom out just a touch, I guess the kind of formation that I'm sort of looking for is I just had it on my perhaps it was on the 4-day. Regardless, you can see that where we're sitting now, this is a significant level of demand, and we are sitting above our MA cluster. We're in a bullish environment for our RSI. Still room to move on Steamroller, but definitely that next level above that supply is going to be the next task for XRP. But certainly, I don't think that $1.40 plus would be off the cards in the next couple of weeks if BTC continues moving to the upside. XRP is kind of a sure bet when BTC BTC is moving to the upside. So
yeah,
look to see what BTC is doing, and XRP is pretty sure to follow, in my opinion.
absolutely.
All right, let's have a look at LTC. This is still pushing since my call at $1.52 inside the Discord. 181.20 was, let's say, the target, I suppose. We hit that and we continued pushing through that. So for myself, similar to XRP, LTC is looking pretty good. And this is really the coin I want to watch at the moment, because I think a blast up to 240 is definitely not off the cards for LTC. Again, if BTC continues to run well. So I've been averaging into to LTC dips are sort of for pickups along with the F and the other majors for myself at the moment. So for me, 186, or let's say 190 confidently, and I would be pretty happy and content to see some moves up to sort of that 200 plus level, 230, 240 for LTC, man.
Definitely on the cards. I think a movement throughout this level of supply up to 192 is probably inevitable in the grand scheme of things. But I think it's still in the same boat as the rest of the USDT pairs, in the sense of we are reaching that overbought condition, of course. But this is just a testament to the formation that we usually speak about. And more notably, it's a testament to the 38.2 and how notable that is in the grand scheme of things, or in a continuation pattern where we are butting heads against a level of supply. We are looking for pullbacks that usually comes at the 38, and then we continue to the upside to the 38. So just a fantastic use of Fibonacci in this instance here. I know we had it on the 50, but of course we usually look at all three zones at any given point. But this probably circles back to where BTC was, where we're looking now for a possible retest of the previous high, to give us more momentum, something along the lines of here, or even the 00 before a possible move up to any given point in the median area there, Ty.
100%, and don't confuse us, vying for pullbacks as being bearish, or me being a moon boy because I'm saying 240 on LTC. We're considering both situations here, but for myself and for ads, we're still bullish on BTC. Don't get us wrong. We're looking for major levels where volatility might occur, and then whether you're a little bit more of an investor mindset like us, where we're looking for pickups and longer term holds as swing traders, don't think that we're constantly bearish because we're saying, oh well, we're looking for that level at 175, blah blah blah. Like, BTC will tell the tale, and the majority of coins will follow suit. But you've got to put your investor or your trader mindset on here and think about whether you're thinking short term or long term sort of gains. For me personally, it's long term. I don't want to be in front of the screen all the time. So it's a pretty easy choice in that respect.
It's about being realistic as well. Expecting something to move to the upside relentlessly forever isn't sustainable, and that's being realized. Of course, you can just look to the left hand side, you can see how that is the case, where if we move to the upside too quickly, we quickly return to the scene of the crime. Something is, it's very apparent if you look left. So being realistic, looking for short pullbacks, looking for short cool off areas that we are, so we can get the momentum, get the volume into the market, and reclaim the buyers and move to the upside is realistic. So that's why we are trade or draw TA in this way.
Yeah, 100%. And just be realistic with everything. Don't go too heavy in positions. Be responsible with your leverage if that's what you're doing, and just continue enjoying the process in the meantime. If you're not trading with too much money and what you can't afford to lose, you keep it far less stressful, and don't think that you need to be in front of the screen 24/7 to make profits where you don't. So don't sweat about that. So if you want to get your coins charted or heard, those were the coins that we were charting this week. LTC, BTC, and Ether are usually going to be staples of what we trade, but ALGO, XRP were requested, so we'll do those. So jump into the Discord, unitytradinggroup.com, or hit the links below. Come on in and ask us the coins that you want traded. We will tee them up next week. In the meantime, check out ADA. So ADA is just broken out of a bit of a triangle formation. This is the USD pair. Continue looking at that. Atom is another one that I'm looking at as well. BNB will likely continue to do pretty good things during alt season if everything keeps running. And then there's also Theta. So keep an eye on those ones. Those are my sort of picks for next Tuesday. So we'll have a touch on that. But unitytradinggroup.com. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below and get the updates when we go live. And we really look forward to seeing you in the next UTG updates, and take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.